Hi, my name is Daniel Grabowski.
My name is Daniel Trofimchik. This is our code for Project O2, geometry point in a rectangle. And what kind of we understood the problem as is we want our program to prompt the user to enter a point. Now, the user will enter a point, and what we want our program to do is to check whether this point is in a rectangle. This rectangle is centered at 0, 0, and has a width of 10 and a height of 5. So the user will choose their point. It can be whatever. And all our program has to do is decide whether the point is inside the rectangle or out. If it's inside, then it'll display a note like the point is inside of the rectangle. If it's outside of it, then it'll say that it's outside of it. So the rectangle it's pretty simple. It just has a height of 5 and or 5 units up and 5 units down, and then 2.5 units left and 2.5 units right. So our code was kind of split into three different parts to like three big steps, you could say. The first main one was to get info from the user so we could see what actually those 2 points are, and thus or what the single point is that we want our program to decide if it's in the rectangle or not. And the second point is to check if that point is in the rectangle, which can be done with a single line. And the final big step is to just output the results with an if and else statement.
And so if we look at our code here, the first thing we have here is the import java.util.star, and that allows us to import anything from the java.util package. We used the same thing last week. And what we're using here is the scanner object here because that is what we need to take any input from the user. So in our main method here, our first line of code is this scanner input object that next prompts the user to enter a point with two coordinates separated by a space. And then here we have a double declaration declaring x and y as the next double. So we have a single line of code to declare two variables here, and those are the two numbers that are separated by a space that the user enters from the preceding print statement. Down here, we have this Boolean with two conditions on it. And as Daniel mentioned, really to find out whether or not the point is in a rectangle, you only need to look at the x and y coordinate separately. So the first condition is that the x coordinate is greater than or equal to -5, and it's also less than or equal to +5. So that will keep us within a range width of 10. The second condition here is basically the same thing, but with different values and using the y coordinate. So if the y coordinate is less than or equal to -2.5 and or greater than or equal to -2.5 and less than or equal to +2.5, then we have a point that is in the rectangle. So depending on whether or not this Boolean variable is true, one of these if-else statements will run. The first one we have is very simple. It is in the rectangle. The second one, it's not in the rectangle. So I'll get into testing here. And I will just test the coordinates provided in the instructions. The first one was 2, space 2. And as you can see, the output is exactly as it is in the instructions. And the second one is 6 and 4. And there you go. We have the correct output for that one as well.